here. Welcome to the big show. It's Monday night. I keep forgetting it's Monday night. It feels like a Sunday to me, but it's Monday night. Welcome to February the 21st from Palm Desert, California. I hope you're doing okay, enjoying President's Day in the United States. That's where I am right now. And I hope wherever else you are, you're doing well and all is A-OK with you. Nice to have you here, and thanks for joining me for tonight's big show. It's good to have a bunch of you popping in already. Nice to see you. If you're able to give us a thumbs up, hit that thumbs up button. Let us know what thumbs up number you are. And that way I can keep track of how many thumbs ups this show is getting. It's nice to see you. We're watching all kinds of things happening in the cruise world. We're, of course, watching world events at the same time, unfortunately. And tonight there is tension in Europe, of course, because the Russians have decided to make their move into parts of Ukraine, where I'm watching with great interest the price of oil. This is the one that I'm wondering about, because from a travel perspective and for cruise ship passengers, the price of oil could make a difference to our cruises for this year and beyond. Because, of course, as some of you remember, if you've been around the cruise game for a while, you'll recall back in 2006, 7, and 8 when the oil prices were 100 to 120 bucks a barrel for a long, long time. They had, remember those oil surcharges that they implemented? It was anything over $70 a barrel. It was at least $10 a day per person on a cruise. So if you took a 1-week cruise out of Florida to the Caribbean and back, you had a $70 per person fuel surcharge levied back at those days. Now, they never did implement a higher surcharge than that. They tried to, keep that down, but that didn't go over too well with a lot of passengers. They were upset. We haven't had surcharges now since about 2009 or so. But if oil does what it's doing right now, and right now as we are talking here at 8:02 Eastern Time on Feb 21. The futures are trading on oil right now, and oil futures are up 275 a barrel tonight to 93.82 a barrel. Something tells me that if oil takes a run and breaks the $100 mark in the next day or two or three or four, or whatever, we break $100 a barrel and stay there a while. Do not be surprised if cruise lines implement a $10 per day per passenger fuel surcharge. It's in your ticket. It's already in there. If you want to take a look at your fine print of your ticket, which you have to do online now, you will find that surcharge clause is still there. The cruise lines can nail you $10 a day anytime they want if oil breaks $70 a barrel. That price is still locked in. $70 a barrel. They just haven't chose to do it so far this year, even with oil at 90 a barrel lately. They haven't done it. But tonight we're up 275 a barrel. Gold is up $11 an ounce right now in the futures. We're set for a 500-point Dow Jones drop first thing in the morning already, according to the futures. Of course, that depends on just how things progress all day long in Europe and overnight with us. We'll see. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. The latest news. Obviously, if oil does break $100 a barrel, you know what the next surcharge is going to be. The airlines, they're going to play the little games where they're going to try to charge us for a surcharge for jet fuel, even though they locked in their jet fuel costs last year when oil was 40, 50, 60 bucks a barrel. They locked in their jet fuel for 2 years from now. They're going to try to nail us for an oil fuel surcharge. And then, of course, those of you who use Amazon, Federal Express, UPS, anyone that sends a package to anybody else, there may be possibly the beginnings of fuel surcharges levied because of the Russia situation. Watch for that. That won't be fun to see that. As if inflation isn't bad enough already, now we get this. This is not good for business. But I don't want to go down that road too much more. I've said enough as it is. We'll keep an eye on it and see what happens. Welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. I sure hope that some of you have gotten cruises in already, and that you're going to get your cruise in that you've booked. That's coming up real soon. I'm sure hoping for you. Let us know, what cruise are you getting ready to go on. Welcome all of you. Ken Kuchera is already in the house. Good evening, Bruce, and all. The temperature in Saginaw, Michigan is 28 degrees. We have an advisory for ice rain tonight and tomorrow. Gasoline is $3.36 a gallon. Janet and Ken, greetings to both of you from Jennifer and I. We're here in Palm Desert, California, where it was a gorgeous weekend. We were in the low 80s, and this morning it was a gorgeous, calm, beautiful day. And then the National Weather Service, the U.S. National Weather Service, gave us a wind warning and said this afternoon the winds are going to kick in. And sure enough, at around 2 this afternoon, it got windy. Clear blue sky, but we have wind. And we're supposed to get this for another 24 hours, and the temperature is now into the mid-low 60s. Something moved through here and is continuing heading east, and I think that is part of what's causing problems in the middle part of the country over the next couple of days. There's some Gulf systems with moisture, cooler air coming from the north, winds from the west. I have no idea what's going on, but there's all kinds of stuff going on the weather front, and a lot of you will be entertained the next few days with all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So please take care of yourselves, watch yourselves. Brittany, talking about taking care of yourself, Brittany Anderson. My gosh, hi Bruce and all. Look who decided to be in for all those who have not gotten word about my left foot since the last time I was in. She broke her left foot and is getting around with a knee scooter now. Oh my gosh, Brittany. You take care of yourself and don't overdo it. Please, please get better. MG Toe, don't believe a word that comes out of Bruce's mouth. There you go. You know he's here. You know that's the real MG Toe. That's not like an imposter. That's the real deal. Ms. M, good evening all. Listening from Mount Tolmai, Victoria, British Columbia. Gas is a shocking 177 liter, and it's cold outside. Oh my gosh. 177 liter. It's kind of like $5 a gallon for a U.S. gallon. That's crazy. $5 US for a U.S. gallon. John Anderson, hello, everybody. Hello, John. Welcome to the show. Jeff Sume is in the house. Hi, Bruce and all. It is 39 in Seattle tonight with broken skies. Heard that Royal Caribbean's masking policy is improving. Look forward to cruising this in Alaska and on Ovation of the Seas. Right on, sir. That will be a nice cruise on a beautiful ship. Frumbler, good evening, everybody. Hello, Frumbler. Jeannie, good evening. Hello again, Bruce. Hi to all TWBers as well. Bill and Jeannie are here for the big show, and they're from East Tennessee. Welcome, you guys, to the big show tonight. Frumbler, I'm up. Thumbs up number 18, buddy. I'm your number 18. Donnell, hi, Bruce and all. I'm number 11. Monavel, good evening, Bruce from Southfield, Michigan. Manuvel, thumbs up. Thanks, buddy. Kirk, hi, Bruce. Kirk Brunson's YouTube and Facebook channel. Hi, Bruce. Kirk from the Big Apple is here. I'm eating dinner right now on board the Carnival Legend. He is off the coast of the Carolinas right now, heading south. He'll be at sea all night tonight, all day tomorrow, heading to Nassau and doing a 7-day cruise out of Baltimore. Fantastic, man. So glad you're here. Brittany, crutches don't fit me at all as my arms are just a little too short, even on the highest level for my height. Diane, hi, Bruce. I finally made it to your show. Diane Schroeder has made it. It's official. She truly is here. It must truly be windy out. Too miserable to be outside tonight. And so, Diane, welcome to the show. We're all housebound, condo bound, resort bound here in the desert because it's just too unsettled outside. Why go out on a night like tonight? Welcome, Diane, to the channel and the show this evening. Ken Steers, screw Biden, caused all this. Yes, it's all Joe's fault. Everything wrong with the country was done by Joe Biden since the 1760s. Congratulations, Ken. Enjoy. MG, cruise lines, buy fuel 3 years in advance. There you go. Brittany, I'm not in the ortho shoe or anything like that. No surgery needed. Oh, that's good. Ms. M, I'm thumbs up number 19. Thank you, Ms. M, for thumbs up number 19. Brittany, nothing went according to my last vacation as I was on vacation when it happened. That wasn't a good thing. Nikki, good evening, Bruce and TW family. It's 65 degrees in Jacksonville, just like here. We're 65. We've cooled off from the 80s. T. Kelly is in the house. How you doing, T. Kelly? Gasoline is $5 a gallon where I am. Northern California, let's trade laugh out loud. Yeah, we're $4.75 to $5.25 around here, depending on where you buy your gas. There are some stations that are more like $4.50. Lee just booked 7-day Princess Discovery Mexican Riviera, December the 3rd. Right on, Lee. Way to go, buddy. Moving forward. Steven, hello, Bruce. We are down in Orlando for a couple of weeks. Then we're back on the horizon March the 5th. Oh, yeah, baby. That's going to be great. Ken, no comments for anti-Biden people, please. Doug, bad storms tonight. It was 65. Snow Wednesday and Thursday here in St. Louis. It's going down fast. Ann Rogers, hi, Bruce. Ann and Brent from Ancaster, Ontario. Gas, $1.45 a liter. John Weir, when U.S. shuts down the big new Canadian pipeline, federal lands drilling, what can we expect? Well, there you go. If you don't approve the pipeline across the Canadian border, you're going to have high gas prices because Canada's drowning in oil. You don't want it. It's all right. $3.49 a gallon in Boca Raton, says Lee. Can fight the mask and vaccine mandates. Eddie, $3.46 a gallon in Charlotte, about 55. Lee, 20. I'm thumbs up number 25. John, PSP highest gust today, 68 miles an hour. Oh my gosh. Palm Springs. Eddie is thumbs up number 26. Rocky Grasso is in the house, and he's number 27, he thinks. Thank you, buddy. Let's see. Eddie, question, how long do FCCs take to come in? Asked 35 days ago for cancellation. Future cruise credits and all that. Eddie, every cruise line is different, and they're just a mess. It's an absolute mess with short staffs. I don't know what to... I make no excuses for these guys. Brittany, next planned outing is to see my orthopedist on March 9. Next trip besides that, not sure. I'm staying at home in Hammond, Louisiana. It's my husband now doing COVID orders in Hammond. Right on, Brittany. You take care of yourself, please. Ann, number 29, thumbs up. Hi, Bruce. From Ann and Brent, Ancaster, 156.9 a liter, temperature -1. Thank you guys for being here so much. Island Girl, I'm thumbs up number 49, Bruce. We're already at 49. Is that right? No, I'm at number 34. We're at 34. Keep them coming, guys, if you can do it. I'd love to get those thumbs ups higher. Sandy, hi, everyone. Too much show here in Medicine Hat, Alberta, or too much snow here in Medicine Hat, Alberta. I'm still in the hospital. More snow tomorrow. Boy, Sandy, I sure hope you get out soon. That would be great. Diane, the only reason I'm home is because I had surgery. Otherwise, I would be out in the windstorm. Oh, my gosh. Oh, Diane, I don't know how you can have surgery. You're perfect the way you are. I don't know how you can be made any better. I don't understand it. It's got to be an adjustment. I got to be fine tuning. That could all be it. That's all it could be. Ken, are you, all you Karens make me sick. Well, Ken, guess what? We're going to, I don't know, we're going to see if we can somehow, move you on. Maybe we can move you along. Tom, hello, everybody. Hit the thumb on my way in. Right on, Tom. Thank you very much, buddy. I appreciate it. Brittany, not sure what my thumbs up happened, whether you got it or not. I sure hope so, Brittany. I appreciate you. Bullcraft Max is in the house. Hey, all. Hope everyone in the U.S. had a happy President's Day. Happy COVID. They're declining. Stay safe. They are. They're down now to 105,000 a day from 750,000 a day. That's a big move down. Hospitalizations are falling dramatically. Death rates falling bit by bit. Sure hope that keeps going. That would be great. Thank you all for popping in here. Appreciate all of you seeing me today. It's nice to have you in the here on the channel. It is wonderful. I see 43 thumbs ups now have already come in, and I appreciate that very, very much. That is absolutely fabulous. All right, well, I got some news for you on what's going on in the cruise world. Let me just take a look here. Eddie wants to know, have you and Jen's plans changed since the last broadcast? I will answer that in a little bit after my news. Diane, well, I guess you're going to have to stop by the office where you leave Palm Desert. You'll see the new me. There you go. Exactly. Kirk Brunson, I'm all stuffed after dinner, Bruce. I'm all done. I'm all done. I'm all done. Oh my gosh, all done. Let's see here. Let's do that right there. Okay. Where am I now? Um, Here we go. Adam, hey, Bruce, watching from San Diego, 485 for regular gas, 61 days until Symphony of the Seas. Right on, buddy. Right on. That will be great. That will be great. Speaking of Symphony of the Seas, the sister ship to Symphony of the Seas, to get you into some news now. Wonder of the Seas, the largest ship in the world. I think she's a foot or two longer than the Symphony of the Seas. The Wonder of the Seas is now in Fort Lauderdale, and she'll be there until May 22nd, doing some cruising out of Florida. Then from May until the beginning of November, she'll be in Europe, and apparently the Wonder of the Seas will be using several ports in Europe to start and end her cruises. November 22nd, she is scheduled to be back in Florida for the coming winter season for 2022-2023. So the biggest ship in the world is now getting ready to sail with paying passengers out of the States, and we'll be doing the U.S. and Europe and then back to the U.S. Way to go, Royal Caribbean. There are rumors going around that are beginning to circulate that Carnival's Mardi Gras, the big Mardi Gras ship, there are rumors about the Mardi Gras that is a possibility that she's suffering from technical issues with regards to her engines. Now, is it one engine, two? Is it even a real story? I can't confirm it, but I had heard earlier today that a couple things are going on. First of all cruises going forward that included San Juan, Puerto Rico are now, San Juan is out. San Juan, Puerto Rico is out, and apparently Nassau has been substituted in for San Juan, Puerto Rico. Now, the popular reasoning for this had been that there were testing requirements needed for passengers to come into San Juan, Puerto Rico, and many ships have canceled ports of call into San Juan. And this is just another one. That was the most popular thinking, but no official word from Carnival as to why they are not going in. But now whisper rumors are out, and it might be from the crew, I don't know. But rumor has it that because it's an 1,100-mile journey from Florida to San Juan, where it's only a 300-mile journey to Nassau, the thinking is that the ship will only go to Nassau and then sail in and around the Bahamas for the one-week cruise back to Florida because of engine issues. Now, I have nothing to base this on with anything official. I'm just throwing it at you. If you do hear of any rumors of this or anything official, you heard it here first. But I can't give you a guarantee that truly is it. But apparently, speculation is that there might be other cancellations of other ports of call if this is a true story. And so I have no idea. Now, that ship, as big as it is, I don't think that Carnival would put that ship into dry dock in Freeport. I don't think they would take the chance that they did with the Oasis of the Seas a couple of years ago when she went into dry dock in Freeport, and they lifted the back end of the ship out of the water, and only to have her go on her side and crash into the side of the dry dock and all kinds of problems. They're not going to take that chance. So if the Mardi Gras has to go into dry dock for engine repair, engine replacement, azopod, whatever, that means from where I sit, it's going to have to go to Spain, and she's going to have to go into dry dock in Spain, and you think I can come up with the name of the city? It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't remember. The one of the world's largest dry docks is over there, and that is where the Oasis ships go for their dry dock. They can put the entire ship right in there and lift her out of the water and work on her. I'm not sure if that's the plan. If that's the plan, then that would have to be if the ship were going to go to Europe this summer. They would then do a run across the Atlantic and go straight into dry dock. The question is, can they get the ship in the dry dock? Is the dry dock in Spain completely booked up? It might be that the ship can't get dry dock space anywhere to get her repaired if she needs it. Now, she may run on these limited runs, if that's the case, for quite a while. We'll follow that story. Anyway, I'm just saying 300 miles versus 1,100 miles is the big glaring difference here. I would think that if you're not going to go to San Juan, then why don't you go to St. Thomas? Why wouldn't you just go to San Martin? That's just 40, 50 miles over here. No big deal, but not even Turks and Caicos. They're going straight back to only to Nassau, which is 300 miles off. I'm wondering about that. Interesting. Other news out there, Cayman Islands news. The government of the Cayman Islands are in apparently advanced discussions with cruise lines. Cruise lines are desperate to get back to the Cayman Islands. The Cayman Islands stop for the cruise lines is really important, is really lucrative, very popular with cruise passengers. The Cayman Islands is always a popular stop. Stingray City, going to the Turtle Farm, going to Hell, going to 7 Mile Beach and hanging out on the beach all day long. The Cayman Islands has a wonderful reputation for cruise ship passengers, but the problem here is several-fold. One of which is the island, the population of the island, and the hospitalization status. The island cannot have, out of 65,000 residents, they could not tolerate 5,000 infections out of 6,000 people. They do not have that kind of capacity in their hospital situation. I mean, they would have to use, community buildings to house people, and they don't have the equipment, hospital equipment, to handle 2,000 ill people at the same time. So the islands have been basically shut down and restricted, very much so, to simply residents only, people who have work permits there, and even then they had very strict quarantine rules, very strict, and strict testing. The first week you're down there, you're getting tested 3 times. The first day, the third day, the fifth day. I mean, you're tested like crazy, and they are on top of it. They have been reluctant to allow any thought of hordes of cruise ship passengers coming onto the island. I mean, it is just not interesting. They had one case of COVID that led to a death on the island, and it was a cruise ship passenger that came off the ship, was on the island, fell ill on their excursion, went into the hospital, and 3 days later passed away. I mean, they do not want anything to do with this disease, and they've had people who caught it. Yes, they've had a number of people who got it, and all this stuff. And vaccination rate down there is phenomenal. It's in the 90% rate. But I can see where the island is being approached by all the cruise lines, hoping that, well, let's bring 6 ships in a day like we used to, and let's let 1,500 people to 2,000 to 3,000 people off of every ship come onto the shore, like 15,000 people a day like the old days. And the island's going, no, thank you. We're just not interested in this kind of scenario. And so I think what's going on here is the island is internally debating it and then is discussing it with cruise lines to find out if there's a consensus, a way to perhaps limit maybe one or two ships a day only to the island, and even then, only limit the total count of people, maybe 1,500 for the whole day for all the two ships. That's not going to work. I mean, you bring in the Norwegian ship with 4,000 passengers, and you're going to tell Norwegian only 750 get to go on the island. The other 3,250 have to stay on the ship and look at the island from 2 miles out or a mile out. That's not going to go over too well. There's no way that Norwegian or Royal Caribbean, Carnival, or anyone will bring a 2, 3,000, 4,000 passenger ship or bigger to the island with those kinds of restrictions. I can see Viking coming in. I can see Viking Cruise Line with 900 passengers max. And right now, I think Viking is limiting their ships to 650, 700 passengers. I can see Viking coming in, and I can see Viking doing a quick test before you even get on your tender to make sure you're negative on the ship. I can see that working, but I cannot see even a quick test working for 3 or 4,000 people for one ship, let alone 3 or 4 or 5 ships. I just don't see the island going for it. I think the local population will be up in arms about it, even now as things are seeming to calm down. I don't know if that'll happen. So, unfortunately for Jamaica, here's the spin-off effect. Without the Cayman Islands, cruise lines aren't visiting Jamaica either. And so it used to be that you would get on a ship in Miami, sail for a full day, and then on the third day you'd land in Ocho Rios or somewhere else in Jamaica, and then the next day you'd be in the Cayman Islands, and then after that you'd be the next morning you'd be in Ocho Rio, or you'd be in Cozumel, something like that, and then a day, one full day of sailing and back to Miami. That used to be the routine, but without the Cayman Islands, even Jamaican stops are way off, and Jamaica desperately wants business, but can't be done. And of course, cruise ships cannot stop in Cuba. So you can't stop in Havana for a day, Jamaica for a day, and then go to Cozumel. No, it has to be Jamaica, Cayman, and no Cayman Islands. And so there's this whole deep discussions going on. I know the cruise lines are desperate to get back to the old days. They're saying to the island, look, America, we don't, we've really loosened up the rules now. It's not so bad, but the Caymans they're not swayed by that argument, and they have a point. But I'll tell you, it's costing the Caymans money to not let in cruise ships. But on the other hand, the Cayman Islands are doing very well with people who are coming in for a 1 or 2 week stay in those 5-star hotels on the beach at 400 a night, 600 a night, 800 a night, $1,000 a night for those nice rooms in those 5-star hotels. These folks are dropping 20 grand. Husband and wife are dropping $20,000 in a week or 2 weeks, with all the fishing and the water toys and going out and eating $200 meals every night. I mean, it's not cheap to be in the Caymans. I used to live there. I know. You can get away. You can get away with a 1 week stay in the Caymans for probably under 5 grand for the two of you combined. Yeah, you could do that. But if you're going to spend 10, 12 days, 14 days at the West End or at the Ritz-Carlton on 7 Mile Beach, you're not getting out of there for 2 weeks. You're not getting out of there for under, no way you're getting out for under 10 grand. There's no way. It's 12, 15,000 and up, and it can go to 40 grand for 2 weeks. Easy. This is the high-end part of the Caribbean, the absolute high-end part of it. It's the Manhattan of the Caribbean. That's why cruise ship passengers love it, because it's so safe and secure. No panhandlers on the beach, no unemployment, no homeless, no one, and I mean no one, sleeps in a cardboard box on the Cayman Islands. Jamaica, all bets are off, but the Cayman Islands, no way. If you are Caymanian, a naturalized Caymanian, or you're you're a person with what they call status, Kamanian status. With that, you can vote and you qualify for all the jobs that are reserved for Kamanians and those with status. So that means all of the customs officers, government jobs, managerial jobs at the hotels, on it goes. I mean, the best paying gigs. If you're qualified to do the gig, you get the gig. They only hire foreigners, like they hired me, if you have a skill that a local can't do. And I happen to be an offshore asset manager. They didn't have enough Kamanians who were naturalized asset managers, and so I got my work permit. But it's only good for 1 year at a time, maximum 4 years. At one point, I think you couldn't get more than 4 years in a row. You had to leave because they had so many more guys like me who wanted in. So yeah, it's a great place to visit for a cruise ship passenger, but it's expensive if you spend the night. For a cruise ship stay, it's cheap. Oh, it's just cheap as can be. You're just doing a tour, or you're walking around downtown, and it's all great. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Eddie is saying we watched the Wonder sail in yesterday. She's a ginormous ship. Rocky's asking, have you heard anything about Carnival wanting to acquire Royal Caribbean? Have not heard a word of that. Let's see. Not good for those big ships out of the Caymans. That's awful news. Diane, Allure of the Seas had engine problems for a really long time, several months. So engine issues were really that urgent, as far as I know. Eddie, bigger ships mean bigger problems. The cruise line should watch this closely. Let's see. Kevin Chapman, 54 thumbs up. Bruce, greetings from Central Jersey, where we had 1 day of spring today. Nice. Welcome, Kevin. Tracy, question. Cruising out of Barbados on April 17, need to get a PCR test 3 days before. Is a CVS or Walgreens PCR test accepted by the Bahamian government? I think they are. I'm pretty sure they are. You may want to just look at frequently asked questions on the website of the cruise line and of the government. You'll find it. And Brittany Anderson saying today we got in the low 80s for the high here in Louisiana. All right, beautiful stuff. More news for you, cruise news. It's all about Genting. Now, Genting, if you don't know who that is, I used to call it Genting, Genting, but apparently they like to call themselves Genting. We're not going to be calling them that much longer because the company is bankrupt. They're in receivership right now. Genting, based out of Hong Kong, with casinos throughout Asia, properties in China and Indonesia, I believe Indonesia, Thailand perhaps. In any event, trouble. They also own Dream Cruise Line, which is the cruise line works out of Hong Kong, sells out of that region. And then they owned Crystal Cruises. Crystal Cruises, 6-star cruise line based out of Los Angeles. Genting also happened to own a shipbuilding yard in Germany. And I broke this story about 6 weeks ago, I guess. I don't know. I think I broke it. I just reported it. But the shipyard in Germany, the MV Werften shipyard, was used by Genting and other cruise lines to have cruise ships built. And Genting had a ship being built in there right now called the Global Dream. The ship is called the Global Dream. Now, this ship has been on the boards for 4+ years. This ship was announced a long time ago. Artist renditions came out, one after the other, a few revisions, changes, and then finally a start date. They laid the keel about, I guess, a year and a bit ago. They laid the keel finally to build her, maybe 2 years ago. I think they began constructing this ship just before COVID hit, and they were building her all through COVID. And through the entire COVID debacle, this last 2 years, Genting had been scrambling everywhere they could to keep everything going. They of course had to shut down their casinos. Then they tried to reopen them. They got shut down. They tried to run cruises out of Hong Kong. Then they got shut down. They tried to run cruises out of Singapore. They were running cruises to nowhere out of Singapore. Just pick you up in Singapore, go out for 3-4 days, come back, end of cruise. They've tried everything to refinance all of their assets. They've refinanced their ships. They've refinanced their properties, raised money from all kinds of sources, and they kept putting money into the shipyard to keep it up and running and to get this ship built. And this ship was also attracting, this ship was attracting a lot of cash from the export bank, basically probably the German export bank. And something tells me the way these things work is that the further along the ship goes in its construction and it reaches certain milestones, additional dollars are released to the shipyard to keep building the ship. But the first 200 million you need has to be put up by the company, Genting, which they did, and they got it started. The ship is now at the 75% mark. It's 3/4 built. This ship, the Global Dream, has already had $1.5 billion spent on her to get her to the 3/4 mark. That is when the shipbuilding spot, this shipbuilder, went under as well. This is Genting's own shipbuilding yard. The yard went into receivership, which automatically nullified the deal with the German government to keep money rolling in, to keep building out the ship. In other words, if Genting could have found enough money to keep the shipyard operating, they would have brought more money in to keep building the ship and finish it. And with the ship being finished, Genting could then get it out for sea trials, take possession of the ship, and start sailing her in the Orient, where they had cruise after cruise after cruise sold out. But they couldn't get to the finish line of the build-out of this ship. And in the meantime, all the financing they've done on all their other assets has been maxed out to every level possible, and they're not running at full cash flow capacity on all of their assets. So Genting, in the casino business, the resort business, their Asian cruise business, Crystal Cruise Lines, and now this shipyard, all has gone into receivership. They've all cross-guaranteed the other divisions. So Genting as a whole unit is in hock, X amount of money. They have X amount of money worth of assets, and the assets are not performing cash flows like they are capable of, which would service the debt and keep everybody happy. So now what do? You start to piece off the divisions. You start selling off different divisions to different groups. Story is, it's breaking that the Global Dream cruise ship has attracted interest from a number of cruise lines. They would like to buy that 3/4 completed ship, because once it is finished, it will be the world's largest cruise ship. It'll be bigger than the Wonder of the Seas. This ship should have already been sailing by now, but delays brought it to this point. So the receiver who's overseeing the selling off of the shipyard, this ship inside the shipyard, Crystal Cruises, where 2 of the 3 ships are in the Bahamas, in port, seized by marshals. The ships for the Genting's cruise line, Global Dream cruise line, not Global Dream, but Dream Cruises in Asia. Dream Cruises is everything's been seized, along with all the other properties. The receivers are actively tallying up what they got, trying to find the buyers to offload this stuff to the highest bidder. And there are now apparently rumors going around that there are not only buyers interested in just the ship, there are interested parties who want the 3/4 completed ship, and they want the Dream Cruise cruise line as well, because this big ship was going to be in the Dream Cruise fleet. So there are buyers looking to buy the entire cruise line along with the three-quarter finished ship. But I don't know if there are any buyers who are interested in buying the shipyard as well as the ship and the Dream Cruise and Crystal and buy the entire sailing division. This I don't know. Now, is it possible that Carnival, the mother corporation of Carnival, is in discussions with the receiver to buy the whole thing? Yeah, it could be. Could it be Royal Caribbean? Their stock is at 80 something dollars a share right now. They've been raising cash on deal after deal, refinancing. Could they be a party that might go to Wall Street and say, we need $5 billion and we can buy a $20 billion cruise line or whatever this thing is worth? I'm not sure. I do know this. The three-quarter completed ship, $1.5 billion has been spent. $500 million needs to be spent to finish it. That much I know. The shipbuilding yard, I don't know what it's worth. Don't know what Crystal would have been worth, and I don't know what Dream Cruises or Dream Cruises would be worth. No idea. But could Carnival be saying to the receiver, we'll buy that three-quarter completed ship and we'll convert that ship into a Carnival ship, or we'll convert that ship into a Cunard ship, or we'll convert that ship into a Princess ship, or we'll make whatever brands we have. We might put a brand name on it of our choosing. Over at Royal Caribbean, they could be going, we'll make that an Oasis class kind of a ship. We might do that. We can buy it cheap enough. If we can buy that ship for $500 million cash and we finish it for $500 million, it's $1 billion build out of a $2 billion ship. We get a $2 billion ship for $1 billion. We could take that. Maybe they might be doing that. Could it be Norwegian? Could it be MSC? That is my guess. My guess is it's MSC. And it would be interesting to know if MSC is talking to the German government, the receivers, for everything. We'll take the shipyard. We'll take the three-quarter completed ship off your hands. We'll take Crystal off your hands, receiver. We'll take Dream Cruises off your hands. We'll take all of that. Everything to do with the shipping, we'll take it. Because MSC could then rebrand the Dream Cruise Line into an MSC brand, or they could just keep it that name, take that big ship, make it an MSC ship for Europe, or an MSC ship in Asia in a big splash kind of way. It's entirely possible. MSC has the kind of cash, the kind of power, financial power, they could pull this off. But at the moment, it's all behind closed doors, and the receiver is busy trying to figure out the best combination deal here to maximize as much money for the bankers as possible. Now, what can be done is the folks at Carnival, Royal Caribbean, MSC, anyone else, they could be talking to the bankers at the same time. So they're talking to the receiver, they're talking to the bankers, and they're saying to the bankers, here's what we're prepared to do. It might be that MSC is saying, we'll take all the loans that those guys had on all the ships and the shipyard at the three-quarter finished ship. We'll talk to the German government about the export bank financing. We'll take responsibility for all of it. We'll sign the whole thing over to us, and then we'll throw the receiver a dollar figure of cash over and above the debt, whatever it is, and that will go towards satisfying other bankers with regards to other assets. The casinos and the resorts will have to be dealt with separately because MSC may not be interested. That could be what's going on. And the bankers might be saying to the receiver, we'd be prepared to cut a deal with MSC. We'd reorganize all the loans with those guys because we can then use the fleet that they have, the MSC fleet, as collateral as well. And there'd be plenty of collateral to make all this go. And MSC is sailing right now. They've got all their ships going. And so that could be happening, as well as with Royal Caribbean, as well as with Carnival, might also all be going on as I'm talking to you here today. And by next week, there may be other developments going down the road. But I'll tell you, that is a very complicated story that is going down very many, many levels, lots of layers, lots of governments, lots of geographies, lots of countries where all these assets are located. The thing is, this Genting wasn't all located in Hong Kong; they were everywhere, and so it's a nightmare for a receiver to figure out the final solution to this whole thing because you have all these rules, bankruptcy rules in every country. They're all different, and it's like three-level chess on Star Trek. You're playing three-level chess with Spock here to try to figure this whole thing out. But that's what lawyers are for. That's what bankruptcy lawyers are for. That's what auditors are for. That's why you have the Cayman Islands, by the way, because in the Cayman Islands, you have all of these specialists who can also help negotiate these deals. Multinational deals with multinational partners all over the place, and governments and banks. You go to the Caymans and you sit around a big fat board table and you work it out. And a lot of this working out is being done through Zoom and through bankruptcy courts and everything else. And eventually it'll all get sorted out because the mighty dollar has a way of making it all work, because that's the one common caveat we have with everybody here. It's all about money. And money solves all kinds of international rules and regulations. It all gets figured out, sorted out, and we move on. So, and when I know more, you'll know more about that. That is the news, some of the news of the day that's going on right now in the cruise world. There's always something going on in the cruise game, and one never knows what's going to happen next. The Genting thing is a most fascinating story. I've been following Genting now for 3 years with all of these complete changes that they've been going through, these complicated financings. I read about one, I think it was 2.5, 3 years ago. It was 2.5, 3 years ago, about how a couple of the ships that they had, one of the newest ships that they took delivery of over at Dream Cruises, because I think they have 3 ships in the water. I think they have 3. The third one, the biggest, most modern one, was refinanced with Government of Canada pension money, if I recall. I think it was Government of Canada pension money, along with other bankers and other entities. They were all coordinated through some banking conglomerate through Hong Kong. But rest assured, Canadians, not to worry. When the Government of Canada, through the pension plan, makes an investment in any bond investment they make, which this was, it was a bond investment. One, the bonds are liquid the minute you buy them, and you can sell them off anytime you want. And it's possible. It's entirely possible that the Government of Canada's pension fund managers sold these bonds a year ago, or a year and a half ago, or within 6 months of getting them, they already blew them away. So they're not even in them. That's the one possibility. The second possibility is that I can guarantee you that the minute they bought those bonds, they already had bond insurance against those bonds pre-purchased. So that for as long as the Government of Canada pension plan held those bonds, the minute that the interest payments didn't come in, they started getting interest payments on those bonds off of their insurance policy. And if by some chance those bonds go into default, in other words, they don't get transferred to the next buyer in full, then the holder of the bonds, which is the Government of Canada, will get a payout from the insurance company for the bonds, which means that whatever the interest rate that the Government of Canada was getting, the pension fund was getting, it's not the Government of Canada, it's the pension fund. Whatever interest rate the pension fund was getting, they were probably coughing up half a percentage point of that percentage money as the premium to protect the whole thing. And that's likely what's happened. And that's usually what is done with large sovereign pension fund deals. It's quite common for that to happen. Anyway, that's more business talk for you, and there you go. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And what else we got going on here? Let's go. Some more comments. Let me see if I catch up with all of you. Thank you for being here. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Tom Henry. I found it funny that the defunct Crystal Cruises in a recent ad to the CDC voluntary program that they're in. I think what happened there, Tom, is that the CDC basically said you have until so and so time frame to join, or you're out, and you can't join later. And I guess even the receiver on behalf of the cruise line joined, so that the cruise line can be sold to someone else, and that cruise line is part of the CDC program. So, okay, otherwise you're out, and you're out. Okay, interesting. Anyway, there you go. Tom Henry, Brittany, you are a mess. What did you do to break your foot? Tom Henry, Global Dream is suspicious. The former CEO that allowed the current financial disaster for Genting wants to purchase the ship. I smell a skunk. Brittany, Thomas, I slipped on a step and tumbled down the rest of them at the Airbnb my husband and I were staying at. Tom, and you're tripping on the steps. Tom, husband, step on you. I tripped on the only one that didn't have any slip resistance and no handrail. Tom, glad you didn't break anything else. Did you have any other hurt spots you wanted to know? Tom, I fell down the steps at home several years ago. It took at least 2 years for my left thumb to stop hurting. Brittany, my husband was behind me, so we were not 100% sure of what happened there. Tom, some of Genting's ships are very similar to NCL's breakaway class. I wonder if NCL is interested in buying. That's a good question. Although I would say, Tom, that those original ships are probably now 20 years old, maybe 25. So maybe not. Stephen Butler, I'm number 61. And I'm tuning in late. Thank you, Stephen, for being thumbs up number 61. Those of you out there who are hitting that thumbs up button, I can't thank you enough, folks. It looks like we're at least at 70 thumbs ups now and climbing. I do appreciate it. If you're able to throw a thumbs up our way, let me know what number you are, and thank you all very much. Brittany says, I couldn't get x-rays right away as I was waiting on my insurance information to be sent to me by my mom, as I use her address as my permanent address. Kimberly is in the house. Hi, Bruce. Always looking forward to the big show on Mondays. Thanks, from Rush, New York. Thank you, Kimberly. Welcome aboard tonight. Henry Marshall, I was number 59, Bruce. Gas is $4.29 a gallon in Vallejo, California. 55 degrees out here. Ooh, it's cool. Diane, personally, I've never been on an MSC cruise, but from everybody that I know that has gone on one of their cruises, the food is not that great and it needs improvement. I've heard similar things, Diane, on the North American side. I heard that at the very beginning of their cruising. That was about 3 years ago. I heard a lot about that. Diane, whatever you say, Brucey, I'm never going to doubt you again. You called the pandemic through 2022 when nobody would even dare do that. I'm a believer. Thank you, Diane. You are the best. Andrew, hi, Bruce. Sorry, I'm late. I was watching The Wonder of the Seas arriving in Florida on YouTube, and I was watching it from Pittsburgh, California. Welcome, FX45. I'm number 62, buddy. Welcome. Thank you, buddy. Ben Way, just stopping in to give you an upvote and to say thank you for your work. Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Stephanie A. Dory is in the house. Hi, Bruce and everyone. It's 72 degrees in Houston. I'm feeling better, and I'm hanging in for a cruise. Right on, Stephanie. Beautiful stuff. Eddie, I hope Jen cooks you a great dinner. Eddie, you deserve it both. John Weir, Bruce, to end with a little humor, don't worry, I nominated you and Jen for Best Set Design. Leaning Tower of Eiffel behind your right shoulder. It's magic. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Michelle Bryden screwed us all with everything. That's right. Ever since the founding fathers created this country, it was called the Biden Doctrine. And to this very day, it is still in effect with Biden himself as president. No president before him ever screwed up, especially the one before Biden. Oh, gosh, he did nothing wrong whatsoever. In any event, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you all for being here tonight and seeing me. Have a great night. Stay healthy wherever you are. Please don't get sick, please. And I hope you get your cruises in, and hope they work out for you. And you have a great week this week. It's a short week for you folks in America. The rest of us, we've been just working. Those of you who watch me on my other channel, I'll be on tomorrow morning, 8:30 Eastern time, as usual, 1 hour before we open for the markets. Thank you, all of you, for being here. Remember, next week, this show will be on Sunday night. I will be back on the air 6 days from now on this channel. 7 o'clock for the sponsor member show, 8 o'clock for the big show. Sunday night, because next week, Monday, Jen and I are in the air. We're flying from LAX to Vegas, and we're checking into our hotel. I won't be able to go on the air next Monday night. So join me Sunday night on this channel for the next update on what's going on. Thank you. Appreciate all of you being here. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Have a great night, a great week, and thank you for the thumbs ups tonight. And we'll catch you Sunday night at 7 o'clock Eastern and 8 o'clock Eastern from Las Vegas, Nevada. And the next week after that, we'll be in Calgary, Alberta, as we're heading north back up to Calgary. Okay, guys, take care. We'll talk to you real soon. Bye for now.